See him a beast when he hear that sound like yeah, beat on the beat when he hear that sound like woo. Yeah, bitch on the champ, only me one round like yeah, me,
for
I'm a
the
G
first
ring.
time since July and since he obtained double champ status, please welcome now 7-0, Mr. Charles in charge Guthrie. Charles, brother, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
Awesome, dude. Great to have you back on. Like I just said, double champ status. I mean, that's got to feel pretty good, huh?
Yeah, no, it feels really good, bro.
Good to hear, man. So, like, how's the fam doing? How the pups doing? Everyone doing well?
Fam's doing good. Pups are doing good. We just started with an English bulldog instead of the French bulldog. So we got like a tri-merle that we're working. Marsha, she's a good dog.
Are you gonna breed that one?
Yeah, but she's still a pup. Yeah, it's gonna be a year or two, but yeah, just something new to throw in the mix. And then the kids love her and stuff. So, kids love puppies. So
Hey man, I'm not a kid and I love puppies. That's my weak spot, bro.
right.
You still rocking the bounce house business? Is that going well?
Yeah. The weather's starting to do a little change on us. So, that's going to slow up, but I only wanted to do it seasonal. That's not the easiest work, but it went well, I mean, I profited already the first year, so that's good.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear, man. I mean, I said this in your last interview, but you got young hustler vibes about you. You're always working, fighting, making money for the fam. And I respect that a lot. Good stuff.
Thanks, bro.
So your most recent fight, you fought 2 weeks ago, September 10th at Pure Combat High Desert Brawl 15. You defeated Wesley Lancaster, 5th round rear naked choke. I actually just watched it before this. Great fight. You pick up the Pure Combat flyweight belt along with your King of the Cage flyweight belt, double champ status. Do me a favor and just break down the fight for me. How'd it go from your perspective?
So the first round, I came out and I closed the distance. That was my goal. He's tall, lengthy, he's got that reach. I did well. I closed the distance on him and I started landing some good shots on him. And then surprisingly, I got him to try and shoot in on me. He tried to shoot in. I got him in a guillotine. He's really tall, so it's hard to sink that. And then, I dropped him in the second round and then landed some strikes from up top. He landed an up kick to my jaw that was pretty good.
Yeah.
But it didn't faze me. I kept on trucking, And then the third round, I dropped him again. And then it was the fourth round. We came into the fourth round, and I was just determined to shut him out on that round. And I dropped him with another hard blow, and then was able to take his back. And I was landing shots. He was kind of just sticking his head up, and so I went for that choke and sunk it in. And it was a tight choke. Like right off the bat, I knew he was done, and I sank back with it, and finished him off there. But it was a fun fight. It was, there was a little bit of smack talking on Facebook and that kind of thing. So, I had to shut him up in a sense,
I remember our last interview, you specifically said you wanted to finish this guy. So
yeah,
you did. Was it the 4th or 5th round you got the finish?
It was the 4th round.
Okay. Well, 4th round, dude, you were lighting him up. You dropped him. It was like you could have finished him any way you wanted. So that was great. He got the heel hook in for a second, though. Were you concerned at all?
No, I wasn't really. He had that for a second, just like he went for it
was desperation
triangle a couple times, but it was a good attempt, but it didn't really get it though. So, I did a lot better than, I fought him before. That was a kid I fought.
That was my next question. Yep.
Yeah. I fought him like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And it ended up going to split decision just because I didn't have the best fight plan going into the fight, and I hadn't really ever went up against a tall, lanky striker. So, it kind of threw me off guard. He landed a head kick the first round that, it didn't stun me or nothing, but it was a good, clean kick. And, and then he utilized a lot of kicks, a lot of teeps, a lot of, front head kicks and stuff like that. But, the second time around, I knew that's all he had. So,
I assume the first time around gave you a lot of insight, some tactical knowledge in the second go.
Yeah. So it's all a learning experience. So now, next time I go up against a tall, lanky guy, it's just experience, and that's a good thing about it.
On the first interview we did, a lot of people commented on Twitter and they're like, dude, this guy's a flyweight. He's freaking jacked. He's huge. Like, your delts were all popping. Big flyweight, So a lot of people were calling you a tank, and I have to say, you fought like a tank, man. Stuff was hitting you, and you didn't care. Very exciting fighter. This was my first fight of yours I actually watched, so it was a great time.
Thank you, bro.
I'd call you Charles the Tank Guthrie, but in charge is good too, because you were pretty in charge of that fight.
Right on, bro.
So am I correct? Your kids were at this fight, or at least your oldest was at the fight?
Yeah. My kids, when I jumped after I did the backflip and I jumped on the side of the cage, yeah, my wife had my son right there on the side. That's who I was pointing down to, telling him I loved him and stuff. It was, and then when he looked up at me and he's like, Dad? I was like, yeah, dude, like, that's me, But it was awesome, man. It was the first fight he actually got to see and watch. So, I know he enjoyed it, but I think at first he didn't realize it was me until I jumped on that cage and pointed down at him and stuff. Yeah.
How old's your kid? Is he like 5 or 6?
He's 4. Yeah, 4.5. Yeah.
I remember that forever, man. That's awesome.
Right.
That's a great experience. Did that give you like? No, go ahead.
He got to come in the cage too, and and check it out and throw up his flex and stuff. It was cool.
I have to, I'm just like man to man. I have this question, I don't have kids yet, but I have a fiance who I'm marrying this next week. And then, we plan to have kids. So like, I can't even imagine fighting in front of her, let alone my kid. Like, what does that do to you, man? Like, is that like motivation, or is that like, oh shit, dude, I can't lose this? Like what's going in your mind when that's happening?
Honestly, it's motivation, and it makes you feel just like you have to give it your all, because like, if you don't, you're going to feel like shit, if you don't perform and do the best that you can, especially with your boy watching you, it's just like, and I want him to be there at every fight, man, because it did give me motivation,
Yeah.
But
I feel like it's one of those things too. Like, I'm trying to put myself in your kid's shoes. Like, if I was watching my dad fight, watching him win would be awesome. But like you just said, the important thing would be seeing him try, seeing him not give up. So that's the attitude to have, win or lose, man. Yeah. Just don't quit for the kids,
Right. No, 100%.
Yeah. So, you just got you got the second belt. You're already talking in freaking 3 weeks on October 8th. You're going to take on Esteban Gonzalez back at King of the Cage, Battle Tested 2, they're calling it. It's being promoted as a 130-pound super fight. I know you're their flyweight champion. What's the deal with the catch weight there? Is it like a unification of 2 belts? What's happening?
So yeah, that's kind of what happened. He's the 35-pound champ.
Okay.
I'm the 125-pound champ. And, I said I would come up to 135 and fight for his belt. He said he would come down to my weight and fight for my belt.
Respect.
So the promoter was like, you know what? I'll just have you guys meet in the middle, and we'll just do a super fight. That way it's even. Both he has to gain 5, you have to cut 5. And so we both agreed on it. And, it's going to be a fun fight. The kid's tough. The kid's really tough. He's stout, but, I want to fight him. It's not something where I'm like, oh, I think he's tough and he might be able to drop me. No, it's totally opposite. I know if I go in there, do my thing, I'll be able to come out with the TKO, KO, or submission. Going the distance, of course, is fun, but everybody wants to finish.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, have you watched like tape on him at all? Have you seen him fight before? Like you said, you're excited for the matchup, but talking just like technicalities of it, what are your thoughts on him as an opponent skill wise?
So yeah, he's more of like a boxer. He comes from a boxing gym. He likes to stay tight. He keeps his hands in close. He's really good at like evading and blocking punches and shots. And he's more of he picks his shots more than just going out and throwing haymakers. He likes to block, move, and he's mainly like, I would say, like a counter striker. His technicality is good on the feet, but as far as I know, he doesn't have any ground game. So, I'm fairly decent on the ground. I've got 2 submission wins.
You're strong. You got a strong base.
Yeah, everybody that I grapple with, they're like, man, you're strong as hell. But
yeah,
yeah, that's kind of the goal, is to bang with him for the first round, try and rock him, see how that goes. Second round, come out, still try to do that, but I want to see how he does on the ground. So I probably will end up taking him down, I'm pretty fast, working to get to mount, and then working to land strikes. I've been working with Benito a lot, and Tyler Diamond, of course, and they've been helping me out tremendously. That's why I think I feel like I'm going to just keep excelling. You know what I mean? Keep going, climbing up the ladder. This is going to be my last amateur fight.
Mm-hmm.
So hope, I should have 3 belts after this. And then once I go pro, I got King of the Cage. They're trying to get me to sign a contract with them, which, I don't really want to do any more than a 1 fight contract. It's just, it's just the smart thing to do, really.
Sure.
Now, if UFC wanted to sign me on, that would be sweet. But, and I would sign multiple fight contract with them. But with King of the Cage, I mean, they're a great promotion and everything, but I just wouldn't want to get stuck there and have someone higher up be like, hey, we want you, and then me be into a contract with another, promotion. But yeah, King of the Cage is who I plan on sticking with. They're really high level. They got good fights, good fighters, and pro wise, I have like my buddy Lake G. He's a beast too. And he's actually cutting down to 125s now. He's normally fights at 135.
Yeah.
He's cutting down to 125. He's actually fighting on the same card and at King of the Cage.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, once I go pro, I just want to try and take hard fights, like I said before, and win those, make it to where I'm seen on the pro level, and then just get in somewhere good,
Yeah. And I mean, I'll ask you about this in a couple minutes when we get down there too, but I know UFC specifically, just having worked with some of those guys and watching it religiously as I do, them seeing a 2-0, a 3-0 King of the Cage fighter, Dana's going to be like Contender Series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very rare. They're like 0-0, 1-0 pro, bring them on. Even freaking Bo Nickel this season. I don't know if you've been keeping up with Contender Series, but they had a guy, Bo Nickel, come on who's 1-0. He mauled his opponent, like absolutely destroyed him, first round submission, ground and pound his mush, everything. And then Dana was like, all right, yeah, you're 1-0. So you're going to come back and fight again on Contender Series this season. If you win that, you get a contract. So he fights again on Tuesday. So get a fight or 2 or 3 in KOTC, man. Get that resume up and get Dana's eyes batting.
Right.
The small strings I have to pull. I'll put your name out there as much as I can, man. I'm a supporter.
Yeah, brother.
So talking your fight coming up with Esteban, not a mark on your face from your last fight, but you did go all the way to the 4th round. Is 3 weeks considered a quick turnaround for you, or are you like, whatever, dude, I'm fine, let's go?
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround. It's going to be the shortest comeback from a previous fight, but yeah, I feel determined that I'm going to keep up the hard work and training, and and I got good guys in my corner, so I feel like I'm set. I don't feel like there's no doubt in my mind. I'm totally positive. And yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. So.
And you've been talking about Savage Den all night. You're training at that gym for this fight too?
Yeah, I do Team Alpha Male in the mornings on Monday and Friday.
Oh, okay.
And I do their pro practice because I go with Benito. He gets me in there.
Awesome.
So I go with all the pros there. And then we do strength and conditioning. So we'll do like cardio, strength and conditioning on Monday, and then we'll do weights, strength and conditioning on Friday after the pro practice. So we'll get out there at like 9 and we'll stay out there till like 12:30. So it's like practice from 9 to 12:30. And so it's a lot of mat time, and it's a lot of, good training, a lot of tough guys in there.
You're getting great experience at those gyms, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I come back, and then I do the nights from 5:30 to 7:30 at Savage Den. Yeah. So it's a lot of mat time. And then I try to get in at least when I get home, eat dinner, and then I'll try to go for a 2 or 3 mile run. That's kind of the goal, at least 2, try to get 3, but you know, and then once it gets closer to the fight, I try to get 4 to 5 miles down at night, you know.
Gross. I run, but I hate it. So this fight's in your hometown, man. Is that awesome? How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I mean, I love the fighting in my hometown, man. Last time I sold like 150 tickets. I had a huge fan base there. You know, it was pretty lit. I had, you know, right whenever I left I sold a lot of tickets to where they ended up moving me from like third to last or fourth to last fight to main event. They put me as the main event, you know, which they put me over the pros, which, you know, it's cool. It's badass. You know, I felt like great, you know,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you know, it's kind of crazy, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, I put on a good show and everything. The crowd loved it. And then afterwards, when I walked out of the cage, it was like a mosh pit of people. All my people out there. And I was just like,
That's awesome.
yeah,
Man.
you know, it was a badass feeling, man.
I wish I could freaking fly out to Cali and come watch you. That's going to be awesome. Just talking about Savage Den. Benito Lopez obviously has a fight coming up. His first UFC fight back since freaking 2019. He's fighting Mario Batista on November 5th. What are your thoughts on that fight? You excited to see your boy back in there?
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm gonna be there, of course. Benito's a beast, man. You can't. He does everything perfect. His skills, everything. He's a badass athlete, you know, and he's got a good game plan. So, you know, and he's smart as hell when it comes to MMA, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I get butterflies for him, man. I'm just excited as hell, you know? But I know he's going to do his thing out there and come up with that win.
Yeah, dude. Benito was like, you know, back in like 2018, 2019, before I was even thinking about MMA media. I was just like a fanboy watching on my couch. And dude, Benito Lopez is one of the first guys. I was like, yo, this kid's slick. Like, just fun to watch and super, super technical. And yeah, super excited to see him back in there. And I can guarantee you he's going to open as an underdog. So gonna catch that. Gonna catch that.
Right.
But yeah, man, it'll be good to see him back in there. Is there anybody else at your gym who has a fight coming up? I know you mentioned that you share the card with a teammate or two. Does like Tyler Diamond have anything?
Tyler, I think he's thinking about getting a fight. He's got his family. He's building his house up in Paradise.
Busy guy.
He's busy and he's running his business, you know. But yeah, I think he wants to get another fight. I mean, I don't see why he's not already in the UFC. He's a beast, you know.
He is a beast.
He took on Bryce Mitchell, you know, and Bryce is ranked top 10 now. And it's just like, and Bryce hasn't really even lost a round to anybody. And no. Tyler did really well against him, you know. It was a good fight, you know.
Tyler can grapple. That's why.
Yeah. So I was just super surprised that, you know, Tyler got one chance. I mean, I hope he gets back in there and gets some more fights because dude's a badass, man. You know, he really is.
How old is Tyler? Do you know how old he is?
I'm not sure how old he is. I think he's like 32, maybe 33.
Still plenty young to get the action back in there. I'd love to see it, man. He's a beast for sure. So Charles, last question I have for you here is when we were texting, setting up this interview, you mentioned that you were working at a school helping victims or helping a school affected by the mosquito fires. What's going on there? Yeah. So
I work for West Coast Fire and Water, and
you do everything. Just need to say that real quick.
Yeah. It's an emergency response team. I work my butt off, man. So when people see me at work and I work hard, you know, they keep calling me back and stuff. And it's prevailing wage, you know, it's kind of hazardous, but not really. You know, we go where in the towns that just kind of burnt, some of the buildings that we go to, like half the buildings burnt, and we have to go in there and clean out all the ash. And we just got done with the school up in Forest Hill, and we got it done in 2 days, a whole high school. And the kids came back the day after we got it all done. So it's like, it's cool, you know, to be a part of cleaning up, getting the school back and prepared, and then the kids get right back into school, you know.
So I'm out here in Pennsylvania, you know, like I'm in farmland, Pennsylvania. I'm a big mountain guy. I go up there. I'm also not far from Philly, so I get a little bit of all that. But dude, we don't have wildfires out here. Like I was literally driving down Route 80 yesterday through the mountains, past the only wildfire sign I seen like in 10 years. It was Smokey the Bear, and it said chances were low. That's all, like, that's all it ever is around here. So like how prevalent is that, like, near you, and like cleaning up all those fires and everything?
Every year, man. Every year there's like a handful of fires. It's like, and it's been crazier, the more crazy since the past like 4 or 5 years. It's just been worse and worse. And I think it's just, vegetation overgrowth and it not getting maintained. And, and you got a lot of people that aren't the best people trying to start fires and that stupid stuff. So, I'm just happy that I can help out. I got, experience. I've been working with this company now for like 4 years, and they always tell me, hey, why don't you come and work, full-time, part-time with the company, and I tell them, well, I got my dream that I'm trying to do. Yeah. And so, part-time though, they call me up and I work for like a week straight, and then we'll just knock out all the schools that they need done, and then I'll go back to training. So we just finished 2 schools in 3 days, made a decent check, but not anything like crazy, but enough to help pay some of the bills this month.
It's also probably nice to just, give back to communities and stuff like that. Like fire, I don't know, that just blows my mind that like you guys have to deal with actual freaking wildfires. That's just so foreign to me. I only see that on Twitter.
Yeah, we got to run like hydroxyls, air purifiers in the building while we're cleaning. It's pretty rough. You'll go in some of the buildings and it just smells like smoke so bad. Yeah. And you literally got to run those hydroxyls in there like all day, all night. But, it's great. The kids, are what's important. If the kids can't go to school, then what the heck,
Yeah, man, for real.
So,
so Charles, last thing I just want to do before we get out of here, you're 7-0 now. You got 1 amateur fight left. You're going to be a pro soon. I'm pretty convinced you're going to be a UFC guy in a couple years or less, man. Real confident in you. You're going to have a lot of eyes on you. You also have all your friends, your family, your supporters that you have now. I just want to give you a chance. Like, what do you have to say to them? Anything you want to shout out? The mic is yours. Do your thing.
Well, honestly, I'm just super grateful for all my family and friends that support me. I don't have anybody in my life that tells me not to do this, not to follow my dreams. Everybody's there. Everybody's on my side, and then, everybody that comes to support me, and, I appreciate everybody. It's an awesome feeling. I'm living a great life. I'm not a rich man by any means, but I do everything that I can to get by and still do my dream, so it's just awesome that everybody, contributes to it in a sense, by helping support me, by coming to the fights and, all that stuff. It's fun, man.
And you're going to have a lot of support on October 8th in your freaking hometown as you go for the 3rd belt. I said before, you're the only champion I've talked to before. Now you're the only double champion I've talked to before. And soon, my friend, you're going to be the only triple champion I have talked to before. October 8th, Charles Guthrie going up against your boy Esteban Gonzalez at King of the Cage for the 130-pound Superfight belt. Don't miss it, people. This guy's the future. He's in charge, and he's the future. Charles, man, for real, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it as always. And once you get your dub in the last AMI fight and you go pro, we'll do it again, okay?
All right, heck yeah. Thanks, brother.
Yes, sir. Of course, Charles.